I'm like, wow, that's amazing technology in an amazingly unethical sort of space. Can I get that we have to defend things, but can we do it with a different thought process? And of course, that's because we're here in America and we actually have, I'd say, a different perspective on the development of these things and other impacts other than just kill the enemy. But is there an imbalance? Are we on the far end of the spectrum where that consideration actually impedes our progress versus the other end of the spectrum where they can take off the shelf doohickeys and make them into weapons? Where's the balance, and how do we get back to a place of defensibility?
I don't know if we can get to a place of defensibility. Ultimately, what we consider is this concept of what's called a pacing threat. And it's like, yes, like we are the technological like leader in all things warfare most of the time, right? When we create a new weapon system that's more stealthy and faster and harder to detect and harder to counter, the second and third order effects of that on the battlefield are the enemies trying to develop the next technology to counter that. We are the pacing threat. Said differently, if you've ever run like you're in track, you got a mile, you got 4 laps around the 4 laps around the track in your high school or whatever, your college. Ultimately, like if your goal is to be number one, like you just need to be the faster than everybody else on that track. But if you've got a stud on that track that's just running 4.5 minute miles, like you got to run a 4:28 mile to get there. But in the end, like you're still first. It doesn't matter how fast you ran it, you're still first, right? We as America are the ones that are establishing that pacing threat every time we create a next level order of technology, a new countermeasure, a new defensive technology. The ripple effect to our enemy is just to try to pace that, create the next level of technology, and it forces us as a defense industrial base to like have to innovate to achieve this concept of overmatch, to achieve this concept of match on the battlefield. And again, it's this like it is not as self-licking ice cream cone as our information systems are, but it is this whole concept where it's just like if we were still fighting with sticks and stones, like someone would be breaking out a bow and arrow right now. And we will always find those asymmetric threats on the battlefield. We'll try to grow that. And so we are pacing, we are the pacing threat on the battlefield right now. We are causing our adversaries to invest a lot of money to try to counter and then develop the next generation of things that could potentially meet and destroy that potential technology on the battlefield. And that is just how we've been since we established this military industrial complex a lot of years ago.